Hi everyone, it's Tania here. Hi Desiree, how are you this morning? Actually, I think it's almost afternoon, I do believe, in South Florida, so I think it is almost afternoon here. Good morning, how are you? Good to see you. So if you guys want to, you can let me know where you're joining in from and what your name is. I know Desiree's here. And my name's Tanya. I'm a Melt Method practitioner. Ooh, from Vegas. Another one from Vegas. You, Danielle, and all of you guys are from Vegas. That's awesome. My nephew just went there for the first time and he totally loved it. So my name is Tanya, and I'm a Melt Method practitioner, Pilates instructor, yoga instructor, geeker of all things self-care. I love to share everything that just helps us live our best life. And so today, this morning, I just wanted to talk about how do you create breathing space in your life, right? Everybody has such busy lives, and everything can get so chaotic, and whether you're working at a desk job or whether you're running your own business and your work never stops because you're always trying to figure out ways to market yourself and get the word out there for what you do. And I think this new avenue that we have, thanks for the hearts guys, I think this new avenue that we have to share with people is really fantastic, because I know that for me it just comes naturally to share. What you see here is who I am in my everyday life, you know, so I feel like it's just natural for me to be this way, and I really love to know how people create breathing space in their life, you know, and whether that means meditation or whether that means reading a great book or doing art or dancing. You know, dance is one of my great passions. I love to do it. And but yeah, so I'm just, you know, always curious what people do. And I know that for myself in the past, meditation was always something that seemed super hard for me to do. It was hard for me to concentrate on my breath. It was hard for me to quiet my mind. It was, you know, like whether I was focusing on a mantra or whether I was, you know, whatever it was always super difficult for me. And you know, the month that I lived at the ashram in Colorado to do my yoga teacher training was a really intense month, because I really thought something was wrong with me. I couldn't concentrate on my breath for like more than 2.5 seconds without it becoming an event, like me thinking, why are all these other people able to sit and just relax, and it seems like they're perfectly fine and nothing's going on. And you know, so for me it was kind of stressful, and so I stopped trying to make it an event, right? And I think really the whole idea with meditation is that, and with yoga, is that it teaches us really how to be in the present moment, how to actually take that, welcome guys, how to take that practice and put it into bring it into our everyday life, right? So that means that when you're doing in an asana that feels difficult for you, the idea is to bring your attention back to your breath, so then you can calm yourself and you know that you're going to be okay. And then how do you bring that into your life? Like as soon as you walk out of the room, then are we getting frustrated because somebody cut us off on the road, right? Like what is that we're doing? And so it's about really trying to bring this practice into our life. And it doesn't have to be yoga, you know, I mean, working out, running for some people is very, very meditative. And I think that's fantastic, because for me, I am no one to tell you what the best thing is for you. I think explore and learn and try as many different things as you can that are going to help you find that soulful breathing space within yourself, and how you can bring that into your everyday life. And I know that one teacher that completely changed my life with this is Adyashanti. So I don't know if you guys know of Adyashanti, but he really is so amazing and liberating as far as a teacher goes, because he actually suggested that a lot of meditation is actually just manipulation and control, right? Teaching you how to control your breath or manipulate your breath, or how to quiet your mind. And we can't quiet our mind. At least for me, I can't. It's not going to be quiet. But what I do now is that I know that that's okay. And so his way of putting it into words was just something that really resonated with me. And, you know, whereas before, you know, it was kind of stressful because I thought, okay, I don't know when I'm ever going to get to the point where I'm going to be able to have a quiet mind. And I really love his meditations because they just teach you how to be, right? Yeah, I'm not sure if those hearts are because you know Aji Ashanti, like he's really amazing. And he can be pretty intense for some people because he puts it out there in a very, very profound way that, you know, why are we trying to manipulate or quiet ourselves down? I think the intention is just to be. And so if that means that during our meditation, we find that our focus goes to our breath, just watch it, follow it. And then maybe the next second you're noticing that your attention goes to the sound of the air conditioner coming on in your apartment, and just follow that. And then you notice that your awareness then may go to the birds chirping outside, right? And that's all okay, because I think that for me was super, super helpful, because I stopped trying to manipulate my meditations. I stopped trying to quiet my mind. I stopped trying to focus on my breath, and I just let myself be. And some days I find myself being super quiet. Other days I find my awareness going all over the place, jumping from one thing to the next, and I just let it go. It's like I ride the wave now. And for me, that is just something that was so liberating. I can't even begin to put it into words, because you know, that's one thing I always loved about dance, and I've been dancing for over 20 years now, one of the greatest loves of my life, and that was always meditation in motion for me, because it was the one place that my mind, everything that was outside of that dance space was outside of that dance space. Whatever it was that was bothering me or that I thought was a big issue, as soon as I went into the dance space, when I left, I realized that it really wasn't that big of a deal anymore. So I started applying that when I heard Ajia talking about, you know, just letting your awareness go where it's gonna go without trying to manipulate it was super, super beneficial for me, because that's what my dancing was, right? Like I had to be there in the moment, in my body, to feel my body moving, or whatever the choreographer is asking from you. And so being able to apply that in my meditation and not trying to manipulate things, and even how everything is going in the outside world, it really begins to create this soulful breathing space for yourself, that you know, no matter what's going on in your life, that you have this space that you can go back to, and this, you just let your awareness follow it. You just don't try to manipulate it, just follow it. And you know, that was always super easy in dance, because you know, for me, one way is to really get into my body. That always helps me to just kind of help deal with whatever stressors are going on. What's the best time to do meditation? You know, I think that if you are a morning person and you can do it in the morning, then that's great. Find even just cultivating like 1 minute. It doesn't, I don't feel like it has to be 20 minutes or it has to be 30 minutes or any specific time. I feel like just whatever speaks to you, right? And if that means that when you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off and somebody makes you upset, if you just all of a sudden, instead of going there with that, oh my gosh, I can't, whatever that verbiage would be in your mind, if you just take a breath and then just follow that wherever it goes, then I think that even that is a meditation. And what is the best time to do meditation? Like, are you talking about the time of the day or the amount of time? Be a little, if you can be a little bit more specific with that. So I think that sometimes I've even cultivated space where it's just a minute, and I found that minute was enough for me just to come back to the present moment, the time of the day. You know, I mean, there are a lot of yogis out there in the tradition that it would be when the sun is rising and when the sun is going down, so at dawn and dusk, because that's when the energy is changing. And so I think that, but if you are not a morning person, like I don't like getting up with the sunrise. So for me, I didn't stick with that. While I was at the ashram, I did, but when I came home, I didn't stick with that because I'm a night owl. I'm up all night, you know, till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's just the way, maybe from all the years of late dance rehearsals and so forth. So I really feel like that's a personal thing for you to start to cultivate. And just, I think, asking that question puts the energy out there. And so start experimenting, try it in the morning and see how that goes for you. But I really feel like trying to find that space that you're living that space, right? Like, I mean, I love like Eckhart Tolle. He doesn't sit down to meditate for any specific amount of time or any, you know, formal thing. He tries to have that meditation be throughout his everyday. So that means just being in the present moment, right? And you if you heard my scope the other day talking about energy currency, Caroline Myss is a brilliant teacher when it comes to our energy and subtle body, our chakra systems. And she talks about losing energy. Praying and meditation is about the same, right? Yeah, I mean, I think that it's creating that soulful space, because I mean, I think that where, you know, prayer is beautiful. And I think that meditation is where we start to cultivate that space of listening, right? So if prayer is putting an intention out there, then meditation is listening for the answer, right? And for me, that listening wasn't helped by trying to manipulate my breath or focus on this or keep my mind quiet. It just started to be about watching where my awareness goes. You know, does it go to my body? Does it go to my breath? Does it go to the birds? Whatever it is, let it go, follow it. Because what you're following is your own awareness, your own soulful space, right? Because you're not trying to manipulate it, you're just letting it be. And so for me, I found that super helpful. Oh, sorry, I just kicked the thing. I found that super helpful because then it started to make more sense to me how I can cultivate that in my everyday life, right? And how to bring that awareness back to the present moment, because really that's where we thrive. And you know, Caroline talks about how why people don't heal is because the energy, their soul, their spirit, whatever it is, that word that resonates with you, is not in the present moment. It is in the past, or it's in the future. It's trying to manipulate this or trying to manipulate that or have this outcome. And so I think that the more that we can stop trying to control the outside world and just start to bring our awareness back to our inner world, because in our inner world is where we're gonna find everything that we need for whatever question we have or whatever intention we have. We begin to listen to our soul. And really for me, that's what it's about. That's what's helped me, is listening to my soul. Just creating that soulful breathing space where I can begin to hear my own soul speaking to me, right? And that's really what it's about for me, because then I find that I'm able to follow my intuition better. I realize it's always talking to me. It's always speaking to me. And so for me, that's just something that's been helpful. But I would love to hear any feedback on what helps you create that breathing space within yourself, within your own life. If you guys meditate, so the one who was I'm not sure what your name was. Do I do yoga? Yeah, I do yoga. I don't teach it a lot. I do it on my own. When I teach, I really mainly teach the melt method. I teach people how to kind of prep their tissues to then go do exercise or whatever other modality or sport that they love. But I do with my private clients, I do cultivate the yoga practices within our sessions. What is your name? The one that you're asking the questions about meditation and yoga. I would love to know what your name is. And I would love to know what your experience has been with meditation or with yoga. So if you want to share that, don't be shy. And so I think that that's what it's about, is just creating that space. And that means that even if you are at your desk and, oh, you like the melt method. Oh yeah, you know the melt. Do you do melt? I love melt. It's my favorite thing in the world. It's my favorite thing to teach. What is your name at 42? I don't know what your name is. Tell me what your name is and where you're from. But I do. Melt is really fantastic, and for me, that's something that helps me to get into my body. It's something that's helped me also to stop trying to manipulate and control everything. It's just kind of going with a flow, starting to find that flow within your life and listening to your own soul. You're from LA, awesome. We have a lot of great melt practitioners out there in LA, so I'm happy to see the word spreading about that. What has your experience been with meditation? Have you tried to meditate at any time in the morning or the evening? And sometimes I find that changes for me throughout the day. I don't know, that's kind of how I feel about as far as time and how, and I feel like that's a personal preference, and I feel like it, just starting to listen to your own inner voice, your own soul, because I really feel it's speaking to us all the time. So I would definitely recommend, if you've resonated with anything that I've said, one of the best teachers that I've had for meditation has been Adyashanti. You can Google, you can follow him. He's got YouTube videos out there as well. And then also, if you're interested in melt, I do live Skype sessions and so forth. That's another great hands-off body work that really helps us to just kind of get into our body. As you've heard me say many times, there's a lot of communication happening in our body. Our body is way smarter than our mind is. So the more that we can just get in our body and just feel and be, you try to meditate once a week and do melt 3 times a week, that's perfect. Yeah, so I think that's great. And I think that, like I said, Eckhart Tolle is somebody who doesn't have a formal meditation every day. He just tries to put that meditative practice into his everyday life, and that's what works for him. Sometimes I find that I cultivate the space during the day to actually sit and be, and then other times I find myself just kind of incorporating it and letting it flow into my life. So, if that means that, somebody says something that makes you upset, instead of following that energy of going there with it, like I can't believe this or I can't believe that, it's just kind of just following and just being with it, noticing that something is going on inside of you, something is coming up, and then just following it. And I find when that happens, like, it just brings us back to the present, and then it wasn't such a big deal anymore, so I find that that's really, really good and helpful. So I was going to keep it really short today, but I think I have actually just kept it chattering like I tend to do. And so eventually I'm going to start doing, small movement periscopes and different things like that. Just little things to help us cultivate space and get back into our bodies. Maybe some meditation here and there. Nothing formal with that, because I really do think that it is a personal preference as far as what you like. For some people, it could be running, and I think that that's okay. I think that, to not worry about what other people are doing and to just start listening to your own soul. Your voice, your soul is always speaking to us. Pay attention to those things that light you up, that make you feel like your cells are just vibrating on a high frequency, that you feel like you could not get enough of this. You could just keep doing it, and those are the things that are going to help you, I feel like, cultivate that breathing space within our everyday life. So I'm so happy that I had some interaction today, and that we have a fellow melter out there. I think that is awesome. It's really brilliant work, and I think there are so many great teachers out there, so many wonderful people doing awesome things, and so I think that, we have a whole world at our fingertips to try to cultivate those things within ourselves. I do meditate for 1 hour and is like 10 minutes. I do meditate for 1 hour and it's like 10 minutes. It feels like 10 minutes when you meditate for an hour. That's fantastic. See, for me, like, doing something for an hour is more movement based. Like dancing for me, like, dancing for 2 hours, like, could feel like 10 minutes. Well, depending on what we're doing, actually. But yeah, and that's what I believe. I think that it is a personal preference. I think that the moment that we start getting into a box where we feel like we have to listen to exactly what somebody else is saying and do it their way, I think that maybe that is just kind of, it could bring up things, frustrations and different things like that. So I feel like the best thing for me that I've done is to take little bits and pieces, things that speak to me, that speak to my soul, that feel like truth, not true, like it's true we're talking, but that feel like a truth. That's what I follow. I would highly recommend, Caroline Myss has a fantastic online class that's called Spiritual Direction. And I really think that that is something that has really helped me. It feels like I've been doing it now. I'm on my 3rd session, I think, so since January. And for me, I feel like it gives you like the owner's manual to living our energetic lives. And so, you know, if you're interested in that, if you're interested in energy, intuitive work and stuff like that, go check out Caroline Myss and then let me know what you think. Let me know how that resonates with you. And if it doesn't, then that's okay too. Go find something else. Just keep searching, keep looking, and I feel like keep listening and just follow. So yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining me. It ran a little longer than I had anticipated, but thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the support. I think that it's just awesome what is happening in the world. We're in such a energetic shift right now, and I think it's just such a beautiful thing. So with all of the crazy things going on in the world, I think the more that we can cultivate love and light, the better off we're going to be. So thank you guys very much for joining me. So much love and light to you all, and I will see you here again tomorrow. Ciao. Yes, you have a nice day too. Happy melting. Bye guys.